Hello, welcome to my channel. I am coming on here at the beginning of my journey, sharing my voice, and am excited to experiment and be in the process of that. I am feeling really called to share my voice, particularly around staying grounded in chaotic times. I think you only have to look outside to see that things are falling apart, things are becoming more unstable, and that is not likely to change anytime soon. And we all obviously are affected by it. But I found for myself, I often get overwhelmed, I often shut down, and I feel like I lose my vitality in response to what's happening, which is normal. At the same time, there is an opportunity in endings. There is an opportunity in chaos. If you are awake and aware, you can use that opportunity to create something new. The world we live in now doesn't have to be this way. It could be different. I feel it in my bones that it could be different. We could live in a world where everyone has enough to eat, where everyone has a safe place to live, where people are able to be themselves and not forced to conform to some homogenized idea of who we need to be. It's possible. Like I know it's possible because anything that you imagine is possible. Anything that you can imagine is possible because anything that exists in our material world was once in the imagination. And currently we live in the imagination of racialized capitalism and white supremacy and all the violence that is associated with that. But that doesn't have to be our reality. We could live in something different, and there are pockets of the world where people do. So obviously that kind of change requires a lot of people to have their heads on straight, basically, to be grounded, to be centered, including myself. And I found that I've gotten caught up. I've gotten caught up in the waves. I've gotten overwhelmed. I've allowed myself to get into a disempowered state and to believe that there's nothing I can do, to submit to nihilism. And that is not something I want to do anymore. I am tired of it. I want to take empowered action towards the world I want to exist. And I think sharing my voice is a part of that for me. There are lots of ways to help. There are lots of ways to contribute. And it's important to trust in what your way is. But I'm going to share my process of trying to get myself back to center so I can actually do what I want to do and what I feel called to do. And I think it's really just going to be a vulnerable experience of sharing how I'm going to do that. And for me, the way I'm thinking of getting myself back to center so I can actually think clearly and contribute clearly is fourfold. There are 4 areas I want to focus on. There is body, emotions, mind, and spirit. And I think that just breaking it down that way makes it simple and makes it so I can focus on one thing at a time. And I'll kind of go through each week doing what I do to regulate myself in these areas. And they all affect each other. There is no separation really, it's just a mental construct. But breaking things down allows you to digest it more easily. And when I focus on each of these areas, bringing myself, and again, you're never completely in center. I want to be clear about that. You're never completely in center. You're never like perfect and fine. Like I'm not trying to get to perfect. I'm trying to get to a little bit more of a grounded place. I'm trying to work through some of the dysregulation I felt, to bring myself back to life a little bit. And of course, like that's never going to be still, like that's never going to stay. But I can get into practices that are more supportive for me, get myself into better habits, get myself into better practices. And so that's what the aim is. That's what the goal is of my process here, is me sharing how I'm doing that so that I am not so dissociated, so that I'm not in freeze state constantly, doing the things that are in my agency to do so that I can see clearly and think clearly and act clearly as much as is possible. And the things that I'm going to do are really what works for me. It's not a prescription. We all have different needs. We are all unique and we are not all the same. But my intention is to share my process, number one, because it's an accountability point for me. Number two, as a source of inspiration for others. Number three is to kind of, because in this channel, I want to be sharing spiritual tools. I want to be sharing spiritual perspectives. I want to be sharing about healing and growth. And I think it's important for me to share a bit about myself and share a little bit more vulnerably of my process first, so that you understand where I'm coming from, I think. And so I'm going to start off the first week talking about the body. This is an area where I struggle the most, and I think it has the most high impact. And I'm keeping it really simple because this is an area where I struggle. I don't take care of my vessel as much as I would like to. I have a tendency to treat it not well, and that's not going to age well. And I think it really contributes to the amount of dysregulation I experience. And this vessel is all we have in this life. This is the only thing that is ours permanently forever, is this vessel, until we die, of course. And so I really want to start honoring it more. And I think for me, I'm keeping it pretty simple because I have been fallen into some unhelpful habits. And I think my goal is to walk 30 minutes every day at least, stretch for 10 minutes a day, and then get at least 8 hours of sleep. And finally, just try to eat a high protein breakfast. Those are the 4 things I'm going to try to focus on for the next week. And I'll share reflections from that journey and share little insights. I mean, I'm new to this practice, so I'm not going to be able to capture everything, but I'll do my best where it feels right to record things along the way so I can take you on the journey as I kind of grow in my skills. But I think these things I want to focus on because I think movement is so important for the body. I think our body craves movement and really responds well to movement when it is appropriate. And we all have our different limits, and what that means for each of us is completely different. But I think going for walks is really good for my mental health. It's good for my physical health, and I think it's hopefully will start a spiral that will lead me to the gym. We'll see if that actually happens, but I'm open to that. And then some stretching. I think I want to just make sure I'm working on my mobility, making sure that I'm not losing any mobility that I have. And so stretching is helpful for that. And sleep is so critical. I find when I don't sleep, I really lose my way. I'm very prone to emotional outbursts, and I'm very prone to depression. I'm very prone to anxiety when I'm low in sleep. Sleep is like the ultimate thing. And if that's, if I'm not getting the right sleep, or if I'm struggling to sleep, I know that things are really misaligned. And so prioritizing sleep is something I want to do. I think the issue I have is I'm a night owl. I hate lying in bed with my mind just racing, waiting for sleep. It is the most frustrating feeling. And as such, I have a tendency to be on my phone until I'm falling asleep on my phone at 1 a.m. because I can't stand sitting there. That being said, I think there have been times when I have, for whatever reason, haven't had my phone or haven't had access to the internet in just certain situations. And I find that I go to bed pretty early, actually. And my phone is contributing. And so I think I'm going to make an effort to have a shut-off time. I'm already seeing that I will struggle with that, but I've deleted social media for the week just to support that a little bit. But we'll see. So I think 11 p.m. shut-off time. Even as I'm saying it, I probably won't do it, but we'll see. And then eating a healthy breakfast. I think that is something that is doable for me. I struggle with binge eating. I turn to sugar to numb myself emotionally. And it's a very deep ingrained habit. It's hard for me to break. But I think at least starting off well in the day, that's something I can prepare the night before. And like at least doing that, I think will put me on a better track to feeling more regulated so that I can really be grounded in the actions I'm taking. And so my intention for this week is just to focus on the body, focus on getting more into my body, focus on taking better care of my body, and then going through the layers. The week following will be emotional, the week following that will be mental, and the week following that will be spiritual. My intention is just to get in a better place so that I can really hone in on what I want to be focusing on this year, how I want to be moving this year, how I want to be contributing this year, because there's a ton of change happening. I think if you're into astrology, you know that in the fall, Pluto made its final transition into Aquarius, and Pluto is a very slow-moving planet, so it takes hundreds of years to move around the sun. And so the last time Pluto was in Aquarius was around the time of the American Revolution, of the Haitian Revolution, of the French Revolution. So the people are correlating this time with revolutionary energy, and I feel that. I think there is an opportunity for us here to demand and create something new as a people. Aquarius has a very humanitarian bent. It's about what's good for the whole. There are a lot of other elements to Aquarius, because Aquarius is also the sign of the individual, the uniqueness. And I think it's really, Aquarius is about appreciating the uniqueness of the individuals as it creates a whole. I'm not an astrology master, so please don't take that too literally, but I think there is this new energy available. And then a bunch of planets are changing, a bunch of outer planets, which move very slowly, are changing signs this year. So there's some new energy coming in, and it's very turbulent, it's very exciting, it's very potent, and I think there is an opportunity. And I want to be a part of that. And I'm not going to be a good contributor if I don't have some semblance of groundedness, some semblance of understanding what's important to me and acting from that, rather than reacting from everything that comes across my field, which is what I had been doing. And I don't want to be that kind of person. I don't want to be someone who's whipped around on the winds of what the powers that be are doing, because that's exactly what they want me to do. And I need to choose differently. I need to take actions towards the world I want to exist. And so I want to take you on that journey as I try to find that. And it is very simple things that I'm sharing, but I think the simple things are the most potent. I think we try to make things so complicated, and I don't know if they actually are. I think maybe they're actually pretty simple. So that's what I'm sharing for now. I'm excited to have you all on the journey with me, even if it's just one person. I don't care. It's about the expression. It's not really about who sees it or how they react to it. I think we're all here to express ourselves and to share of ourselves in the way that feels right for us. And I'm just feeling compelled to do that, and I'm honored to have a chance.